Hello, Beth Emmett teachers. The purpose of this video is to set up a new Google Classroom that has the settings that you need and the weighted categories for your grades. We're going to start by going over here. Once you're on Google Classroom, classroom.google.com, we're going to go over here to this plus sign, and it says create or join a class. So I'm going to click that button, and I'm going to create a class. Okay. The class name for me would be my subject area. And because I teach more than one grade, I also include the grade that I teach. This one's going to be kind of made up. So I'm going to say, okay. And then for my section, I usually include two things. I include the year and I include the quarter. And I do it in that order because of how it saves into my Google Drive, because all of your classes and all of the documents that you use in your classes does save to Google Drive. There's kind of a backwards way to go into your documents if you wish, and I use it all the time for my classes. So I like to save it so that I can see the year first, and then I have the quarter. Okay, you click create. Okay, it automatically saved this banner here. You can customize that very easily. You can do that by choosing select photo, and it has different categories: English and history, math and science, arts, sports, other things. So you can customize it depending on that. Okay, so I've chosen a class theme. I think this color is okay. The theme color does not necessarily have to match with the picture, and I'll show that in a different video as well. This is just what you see when you look at your shortcuts over here. So I'm going to save that, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. So when I go over here, that color here is based on the theme, the color theme I just chose. It is not based on the picture. If I were to change that color to teal and save, when I go over here, now it's blue like that. So that's totally separate from the picture that you choose. You can make a custom picture banner, really it's called, in Canva. Very easy to make. They have a lot of templates that are easy to use if you want to be fancy with it, but this is also fine. Okay. This is also where you would invite your students to join your class. You can display the class code on the board, and they can type that in themselves to join the class, or you can go over here to people and you can invite them this way manually. So you can type in their emails individually. That takes a little bit more doing, but I have done it that way as well. So now that I have my class open, it's not really set up yet, but it's here. Then you can go into this, the settings over here, the little icon is a little gear. And then we can change the settings. So I will say most of this I do not mess with. It's good the way that it is. I do not prefer for students to be able to post and comment. I find that when students post and comment in the stream, I am not impressed with the wisdom of their choices. So I like to choose only teachers can post or comment there. It also just, if they're posting a lot of text type messages, then my very important messages could get lost. So then the rest of this is fine. The Guardian summaries I have turned on, and I'll show you that in a moment. And then you have your categories. Now for middle school, our categories are different than for elementary. So I will share what I do for middle school, but I'm going to do that very briefly here. In other words, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to speed it up. And then I'll show you the elementary teachers, what your category weights should be, and the middle school, what those should be. So first of all, I'm going to turn on, to move this little bar out of the way. First, I'm going to turn on weighted by category. I'm also going to turn on that the students can see their overall grade. Really, the students should be able to see their overall grade. so that there is transparency there, so that if we're asking parents to log in and see their students' grades, they have fair warning. Also, I will say from experience that sometimes if you initially decide to turn it off, you easily forget to turn it on later on. So I have done that as well. So I just opt to go ahead and leave it on from the beginning and explain to students that the first 1 or 2 grades, if they get a poor grade on something at the very beginning, their overall grade can look very scary, but that changes over the course of the quarter, and there are many opportunities for that to come up. Okay, so for middle school, in middle school, we have classwork and homework as 30% of the grade, quizzes are 30% of the grade, tests, projects, and writing are 40% of the grade. I don't remember if it says writing on the categories for middle school in general. I make sure that I include that in that category so that they can see that any writing that they do for me ends up in that larger category. But that's partly because of the nature of what I teach. So I'm going to leave that there, and then I'll talk to you and present to you the 2 weight categories for elementary and for middle. Okay, this here is set up. Okay, now obviously you won't see any grades here until you post something. You can't see classwork because I haven't posted it. But if I go to a class that does have assignments, let me show you what happens. Now that I have those categories, let me go into something else. So I have some assignments in here. Okay, let's grab a random one. So I'm going to go in here. It says draft right now, so the students cannot see it. I'm going to go in and edit that so that I can see the details. In here, when you're setting up your assignment and you have your title of the assignment, you have your resource. This particular one has the students being able to view the file. Really, I should need, before I assign this out, I'm going to have to change that so that I can make a copy for each student, because that means that the students have their own copy as opposed to being able to view my document. But it has the grade category over here. You can also specify which students are assigned. Once your students have joined the class, you would be able to see a whole list of students, and you can check off individually if there are some students that are not going to get assigned that particular assignment. That means that you can differentiate assignments so that there may be different versions of that assignment that are harder or easier depending on the abilities of the students, and the students will not know that they have a different version of that assignment because it's only checked, you're checking only the students that that's assigned to. So you can have the grade category and you can have the points. I usually do points, but I think this year we are moving to having percentages. I'll have to check with Nikki on that. I usually do points because it's easier for me to grade, but it's very easy to do this as a percentage as well. And you could theoretically always choose 100 points for your assignments. I just do not find that all assignments are equal, but there is also a way to do a 100-point structure and have it doubled or tripled for assignments that are more valuable. Anyway, you also have a due date here if you choose. If the due date passes, it will show as missing for that student unless they turn it in, unless they submit it, and then it will show as turned in until it's graded. And then you have your topic. I'm going to close that. So the other thing you'll see here, because this class is already set up, it was a previous class, you'll see that you can organize your assignments based on the type of assignment that it is. In this case, one topic would be Discover Your Voice, another topic would be journals, and you can add that separately, create a topic, okay, from here, or you can do it within an assignment. So if I go into any one of these assignments, then down here is the topic. So you can create a new topic from here, or you can choose a topic that already exists. So now you have set up your class. The other part I wanted to show you, and I mentioned it briefly before, is that the reason I name my class with the year and the quarter there, as well as the subject of the year, is that all of the things you do in Google Classroom save to your Google Drive. And so even this class that I just made has a folder here, and inside that folder, it keeps the templates of what you do. So for me, I have all of my world history assignments here, my literature assignments, they're all in here, and I can see from the folder only. I can see the subject, the grade, the year, and the quarter. That way I'm not searching through folders looking for, but which quarter is this and what year is this? I can't find it. If you just do it with the subject and the grade, you're going to be lost looking for the information. But if you have all of that information somewhere, I don't necessarily think it has to be in the order that I put it, but somewhere in there, then you can find it easily. And for me, that means that I always have access to the work that my students did. When I go into that folder, everything is right here for us, and I can look at all of my students' work. And notice that when you click make a copy for each student, this is what happens. It automatically generates a copy that has the student's name and the assignment name and puts it in a folder with the name of that assignment. That does it for this first video on how to set up your classes. I hope that was helpful for you.